Dear Derry, welcome to Sunday. This one's going to be a little different. It's not so much a like a journal entry. It kind of is, but it's a little bit closer to like a well, basically what I'm going to be talking about for the next few minutes is an idea that I just had. Well, not just had. It came to me earlier today. For Star Citizen. There was a question on, I think, 10 for the Chairman, or possibly on Wingman's Hangar, a couple of weeks back, possibly a month and a half or so, where they were talking about kind of making on-the-fly repairs, especially on like multi-crewed ships and whatnot, where you've got engineers who are trying to fix stuff down, in the engine room and whatnot. And what keeps coming to mind is there's an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where Counselor Troi, she basically is the senior officer on the bridge. Like they hit like a quantum filament or a cosmic string or one of the two, the other way, because she mentions one of them, and she's talking to Chief O'Brien. He's like, no, that's a completely different phenomenon. She doesn't understand it, and neither do I. But the point is, she's never taken the bridge officer, thing. She doesn't really know how to command a group. And because she's never taken the bridge officers thing, people like Ensign Rowe and whatnot that are there keep kind of questioning her orders, because it's not necessarily that her rank is, I don't want to say complimentary, honorary. It's not that it's an honorary thing, but kind of. Anyway, she's not so much a military officer as she is a scientist, kind of. Anyway, so there's a scene in there where they're trying to keep power flowing to a particular, like to the antimatter envelope, the envelope that contains the antimatter, so that it doesn't blow up the ship. And they have to keep adjusting things back and forth. And like Ensign Rowe saying, well, if it drops too far, the field could become unstable and it'll collapse or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. But it was the scene that I'm thinking of is you can see all the little power bars and whatnot. And one of them starts to drop, and then Chief O'Brien kind of moves some stuff around and it brings the thing back up again. And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, okay, what happens if you've got like two ships that are, in space there in Star Citizen, and they have been blasting the living hell out of each other for who knows how long. And eventually they are just sitting there nose to nose with each other, just staring at each other. They've got, both of them have no weapons, no shields, no propulsion, no communication. Basically, whoever gets weapons back online first is going to win this fight. And so you're sitting there and you're trying to do this thing. Now you're sitting in your ship and you've had this huge hole blown in the side of your thing, and you are venting, electrified plasma, whatever, out into space. And that primary power conduit that feeds your weapons is ruptured. And I'm thinking, okay, so you've got to redirect through something else. Well, what if you take it from life support? And I'm like, okay, so you redirect power from life support, and then the power from life support goes into that circuit that is ruptured, and you just blast all of your electrified plasma from the life support system out into space because you didn't isolate that circuit first. Poopy. So now you're well and truly screwed, because now you don't have anything, really. You're just going to lay there and freeze to death. Anyway, but let's say you do isolate that circuit first. You bypass that thing. Well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to, even if you try to channel that much power through the life support system, because the life support system doesn't require nearly as much power as engines or weapons. So you've got to be very, very careful how you do it, how much power you put through there, or you will rupture those conduits because you're trying to push too much power through them, and you just rupture them. So you've got to be very careful. Even if you've just got minimum power on lasers and you just kind of go, and you just drill through his whole ship as slowly as you possibly can, but you're like, bye-bye, something. But I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how to visualize, this repair process, this bypassing process. And one of the games that I play a lot that I don't stream because it's probably boring as all hell for people to watch is Solitaire. Honestly, that's one of my favorite games to play in the bathroom. I love playing Solitaire when I'm indisposed. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, and I got to this point where I couldn't see. I'm like, okay, clearly there are no useful moves left. But this thing keeps telling me that there's something I can do. It keeps saying recycle through the deck, recycle. I'm like, none of these cards are useful. None of these are helpful. Why are you telling me this? And so I went through one card at a time, I pull one, I draw 3 cards. I say, what's the hint? And it's like, nope, draw. So I hit draw, 3 more cards down. Hint, nope, draw. 3 more cards down, hint. And it's like, move this card, because there's all these cards I've already sent home. And it's like, pull this one down from here. Move this one over here. Move these 2 over here. Because I pulled... Shit, that was a terrible explanation. Ants. I got ants in my room. They keep getting in my hair. I have my window closed because that's where they were coming in. This is a complete tangent, way off target. Stay on target. Stay on target. Anyway, they were coming in through my window, and I can see a pile of them trying to get out through but of course the window's closed. So they're probably sitting there going, let us out, let us out. And no, because if I let you out, you'll go get your friends and bring them back in. No. So there's scouts moving through my room trying to find another way out. Anyway, back to the engine thing. Well, back to Solitaire as the engine thing. So you pull one of these cards from home and you bring it down, which allows you to move this card over here, which allows you to move these cards over here and this card down to here. And then that, reveals this card over here. And I'm just like, that's it. That's exactly how I would want this thing to work. And then I thought, oh my God, I can't remember. What's Chris Roberts' take on minigames? Shit. Because my luck, he hates them. Hates minigames. Although it's not actually solitaire, but it's that kind of a mechanic where, okay, you can't access this circuit because it's locked in there. You have to replace it with a similar circuit of the same power rating, or it's going to explode when you try to push power through it. So you've got to, figure out what can I pull a piece from that's not going to kill us all. It's like, okay, I can pull it from life support, maybe the main trunk of life support, where it goes directly from the power system, first dumps into life support and then branches out to the rest of the system. Maybe, because that would be a higher power rating coupling than see, it just cycles, and I go kind of berserk. Anyway, closing in on 9 minutes, and that's really all I've been thinking about for like the past 4 hours. I've been going through Solitaire over and over and over and over again, trying to find one of those moments where it's like, okay, I gotta move this over here, move these over here, that, flips over this card, finally, yay, it's a king, I can move this queen and this stack over here, and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Anyway, blah. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for Motivational Monday. Until next time, be careless.